to the Cinementalists. Noun, plural. Definition, those whose love for movies runs so deep, they can't help but do a podcast about them. Hosted by Colton Robertson and Joseph George. Hello everybody and welcome in to the Cinementalists, where today we are celebrating Pride Month and Juneteenth with The Watermelon Woman. It premiered in Berlin at the Berlin International Film Festival in February of 1996. It was written and directed by Cheryl Dunye. I am Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And this is the only film on the month that is a first watch for the both of us. So I'd heard about it just because I was a little like plugged into this one for a long time. It's always been on the Criterion channel and I've always been tempted, and I just never pulled the trigger until it was for this. How'd you feel upon your first viewing of it?
I mean, I'm very, very fresh off. Had the start of it in the morning. I thought I started it with enough time before I had to leave, but I did not. So I was really mad that I had to leave before like the last 20 minutes though. But kind of like a natural-ish stopping point. It was like before everything started to really pick up there at the end. So it
nice moves quick too. It's like an epilogue that you don't realize is going to be an epilogue, you know? Mm-hmm. Like the relationship kind of fizzles out very suddenly. And then the movie just accelerates to be like, and this is the end of the movie. And you're like, oh, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, here we are. And then like I was fully bought in. I'm like, okay, like this is an incredible story. Like I can't believe, I don't know, I've never heard the name, you know, The Watermelon Woman. That sounds so like I would have heard that somewhere, you know, and I'm like, wow, crazy, like good story. And then like at the, you know, the quote at the end, you know, and I'm just like, wait, huh?
Sometimes you have to make your own history. She's quoting herself on this one, folks. I love that it's actually credited. The quote is actually credited to Cheryl Dunye, which is very funny because she wrote and directed the movie.
So am I about to be duped to get like I don't really know where to stand, you know? I was like, fully bought in. Like I'm like, this is real. Like I'm like that she told such a like her fiction was so I don't know just good that I don't know I fully bought in. And then
and that's the thing is that it's the thing that almost makes it what might as well be a real story from our history is that it very well, like, I know that a lot of stories are written because, this could very well happen. But the fact that this has a commentary about Black history and that who knows how much of it we've lost, you know, like, how many stories like this aren't being told because we literally have no way of knowing about them. You know, like it would require somebody to dive all the way into this. It's not just knowledge. It's not just there at your fingertips. It's just so much lost. Because nobody cared to write it down, you know, or it was actively erased one way or another. Or, you know, like, one of the things that's always interesting throughout history is that, so nobody who ever accomplished anything in American history was gay. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have like an icon of queer history before Stonewall, you know, and I know that there are historical figures who were gay, but like how many stories were erased because, or their queerness was not acknowledged because they were queer, you know, it was like, forget about that. Like her discovering this actress, being like, I'm interested in this actress. I want to tell a story about this actress. And in doing so ended up being like, oh shit, she was also gay. Like that's a not insignificant discovery. You know, that is a key part of how to tell someone's story, especially at that time. So I just find it interesting, the concept that maybe we've lost who knows how much to erasure in our past, you know?
Wow, that's crazy. You stumped me. I'm trying to think of any old gay person.
I'm like and that's the thing. They existed, obviously, and even the people in our history books, I'm sure, you know, there has to be one or two who we have no idea was gay. You know, like, it's just, God. It's just
Teddy
almost
Roosevelt,
a certainty.
why is he popping out? Why that probably offends so many people, but why does it feel like he could be? I feel like I don't know. Teddy Roosevelt.
Well, there's just also like this came up pretty recently in the wake of the passing of the first professional basketball player to ever come out, Jason Collins, who recently passed away from cancer. Charles Barkley, who is dope as fuck, by the way, love Chuck, went, you really believe that there aren't any gay professional athletes right now? You know what I'm saying? Like,
wow.
Look at the amount of people in the league, and you want to tell me you believe that there's nobody else that's gay? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's been repeated. He's like, clearly the world's not supportive enough yet. It's kind of the tone he's taking, is like disappointed with the state of things because they don't feel comfortable enough to be themselves. Wow. And maybe that's specifically that's a sports culture thing, basketball culture thing. But he's like, do you really believe Michael Sam was the last professional gay football player and also the first to be drafted knowing that he was gay? You know, like, that's no, definitely not.
Wow. That is wild. And to think, I mean, this is, I guess not this isn't a real human being, right? I'm not going to get like duped a second time.
No, I don't. If it is, I have no idea. I'm not going to lead you astray there. And again, that's why I'm like, it's so believable that it could be based on real, like something real, but, I have no idea.
Okay. But I mean, kind of the point being that it might as well be. And,
exactly.
I mean, yeah, it is just, I was so bought into it. And I think there was real history inserted in here. Like, there were buildings. Well, I guess it could have been fiction. Like pictures of dance clubs or certain bars that they showed in pictures that then they did a perfect frame to match. I feel like that stuff was actually real, or there was legitimate history,
legitimate history in here.
But maybe just the persona of the Watermelon Woman was made up. But then I don't know, man. All of the picture, are all those pictures fake? Are
they all necessarily? Well, and that's the thing. I do not know if the actress who repeatedly appears as the Watermelon Woman, I'm assuming she was filmed modernly but with a different type of camera and a different setting and all the sorts of I have no idea what the circumstances are for that, or if it is kind of stock footage that Cheryl Dunye had access to, and maybe the person playing the Watermelon Woman was real, but this isn't her story, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. And that might be available in the trivia, but it might just be that these were images and videos she had access to and then built a story around that person.
Wow.
Now I'm speculating. I don't want to say that's what happened.
Yeah. The second bit of trivia is faux archival 1930s film Plantation Memories. Was directed by Douglas McKeown or McKeown.
McKeown,
co-written by Cheryl Dunye. So
it was filmed modernly.
Wow, I thought that was a real movie for sure, dude. That's crazy. That's insane. How, I guess maybe the kind of the independent film nature of it made it seem that I don't. It was very cool how it could be a camcorder at some points. The quality was, you wouldn't expect it to be anything crazy, but then you step back and you see a pan shot of just a street, and it's it's beautiful, and I love how it could just change dynamically. I don't know, maybe that made me believe in the archival footage more, just that it was so dynamic. I'm like, oh yeah, this must be real. She's just throwing in, what she's finding along the way on her little detective, journey that she's going on, that have the sisters, the clit.
The center of learning and center of whatever information and center of lesbian information and technologies. That's outstanding.
Man,
that's perfect.
If not a real thing. I mean, come on, ladies. let's go. Like it's there. The blueprint is here, and they need
And then
organization.
everyone would be able to find it.
Yeah,
They need volunteers. They need volunteers,
Yes.
and as you know, these things take time. I loved that character. I love how authentic and real the characters feel in this movie. Everybody feels very, very, I don't know, just normal and human. And that was one of my favorite characters in that capacity, was the woman who will not let them video in the library and all that stuff. Like, no, this is privileged information. You know, it's so funny because you've ran into that person before.
Yep.
It's hilarious. As you know, these things take time. I love it.
Everything will have their place. There will be an organization system. Yes, it needs to grow. The clit, it needs. We need to get the word out there. You know, it's it all. You know,
Fun
education,
clits everywhere.
Yeah, so it's necessary. But yeah, that's like it. The movie was very funny. Like, I mean, as well, like throughout the whole time. Like, I mean, the little kind of skits that were just thrown in there. Like at first, before Diane was like an actual love interest, I thought this was just kind of like a one-time interaction that they were having, you know, and it was kind of cute, you know, or whatever. And but then, like, I'm glad it actually did spur into something. And I swear, is it just me, or is there a little bit of Audrey Horne, a little bit of
Yeah.
Oh my God, the real
Sherilyn Fenn.
Sherilyn Fenn, thank you. A
Yes.
little bit of a little Audrey
absolutely.
energy,
Absolutely.
though, specifically.
I agree
yeah.
completely. There's there's definitely a similarity there, and I find that an interesting comparison just on the grounds of that she talks almost exactly the same. That's so weird. Like now that you point that out, they look very similar. They act very similar. That is, they talk very similarly. Yeah, no, that's a good observation, and I really, really enjoyed that actress here. Guinevere Turner, I think is her name.
Yes.
I really, really liked her. I thought that she was incredibly charming, very magnetic, and her chemistry with Cheryl Dunye was really believable, and the concerns that are brought up to Cheryl by her best friend, or by her friend, I should say, and coworker, who is like, I don't know, I think she just likes black girls, you know, like I don't know, like she plays that very believably as well, you know. It's a strange realness to her character that, like, in a movie where a lot of interactions do seem like they are almost vying for unnatural energy a little bit. Like, there's some stuff that I think the performers aren't equipped enough to perform authentically. There are a couple interactions between Cheryl and what's her best friend's name in this movie?
Oh yeah. Oh my God. That's not Katya. Oh, this is okay. Yeah,
Tamara.
No, I was on the wrong movie. Wow. If you scroll down on Guinevere Turner's IMDb, she is in Who's Afraid of Vagina Wolf, and I was on that cast instead of the Watermelon Woman. So yeah, wrong page.
I think it's
there.
Tamara. By the way,
yes,
I believe
it is Tamara. Valerie Walker. There we go.
Yeah.
Weird.
Her. There were points whenever they were in scenes, especially at the video store, that felt almost, I don't know, student play-y. You know what I'm saying? Like the casual non sequiturs into other topics were always like, it always felt like, oh, this is something that I would have filmed with my friends at some point in high school, you know, like that was kind of the energy it had in those moments. They weren't long lasting, and I don't want to say that they are not good at performing a lot of the script, because they are, but there are points where I was like, that doesn't feel like a natural interaction to have had just now, but
yeah, it doesn't help that they were kind of like a little, that was the only kind of time that any character was kind of childish, or like it was like, okay, like you both are like bigger than this, or like this is like, why are we fighting here? Like there's nothing that's really going on. But I will say, like, the one kind of theme, and I don't know if I'm reading too deep into it, but like the I think at least the project and like having to do work, it was pulling just everyone away from the relationship, I think. Like,
Oh,
but it
yeah.
was good work that she was doing, but it did strain kind of the relationship she had. But then there was kind of this like how Tamara, specifically like the other person who worked there, the new
Right.
hire, that was kind of a little bit more flamboyantly gay. I love how everyone's gay. I don't, I
Mhm.
guess the Bob has a girlfriend, whatever, but yeah, I don't know about Bob. I think I think he's putting on a front, if I had to guess. But I think everyone kind of in the shop is gay. But I think that new hire is just like a little bit more flamboyant, or at least Tamara, like, she doesn't like her. It's
No.
too much, or like she's too.
She's performative.
Something.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think like I wonder if like there was something to say of like the kind of stages or kind of different looks of gay that there kind of are. Like there are the kind of people who like you can see from across, I don't know. Like if you look at David Bowie standing however far away, you kind of just know that that's not 100% of a straight person. But then like
Right.
if you see I don't like I'm trying to think. I don't, like the kind of more nonchalant, if that makes sense. The
Right. Not
the Cheryl,
flamboyant.
like yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know, like Cheryl is you wouldn't, I don't know, maybe guess it right off the bat, but it is just kind of like there's not the like the new hire, I don't know, like just kind of you just can kind of tell.
There's and
Yeah.
there's nothing stereotypically
Yes,
queer about
true.
them. Yes, like she's not butch presenting, and like there's nothing inherently like, oh, you style yourself this way either because that's how you like to style yourself, or because there's a key indication in fashion typically that is to reflect yourself in some capacity. So I do find I do understand what you're talking about. I also think that they're making a point about the gap that can exist from, I don't know, between people who are oppressed generally. Like black queerness is not the same to Tamara as white queerness. That's why she doesn't trust she doesn't trust I want to say Guinevere.
Yeah. Diana.
Yeah. And is the new hire June?
Yes, June. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
June,
She doesn't trust June. She doesn't trust Diana. These aren't, like there's a level of like you haven't had to fight the same fight I have, and therefore, not forgiven, as it were. And also Diana is canonically bi, which
true.
carries with it in some circles a certain resentment, as half in, half out, like it's an option, but and there comes a lack of belief and like okay, sure, about it. But that's what I like, that the movie acknowledges, like she's perfect. I think she's perfectly validated as a queer character also. Diana, I mean.
Yeah. It's just different. Yeah, different. I think that's why the like Watermelon Woman and the director relationship, was like kind of the only one that was present for a long time, and that's like the only one that was there. But then like whenever it kind of turned into like, oh yeah, no, she, like that was. Like, I hate that you brought that name up. I hate that you brought up that white one, or like that's how you define her. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I guess kind of. But like also, I love how Cheryl kind of flipped it back on its head and was like, well, that was my whole world, or that's all I knew, kind of growing up, and that's what made film so beautiful for her. And that's why like I so bought into it, because I'm like, okay, independent, making the movie, like this is so independent film style, and like you are kind of preaching to me right now. This is how you got into film, and now you are doing it, and now this is like a time capsule shrine of a thank you to the actor or actress who got you into
Right.
filmmaking.
Well,
and
and
so
I
I'm
love-
like, I'm all in. But
I also love the premise of the genre blending of a fictional story surrounding a documentary. Like Nomadland
Yeah.
is a good example of that.
Ooh.
Pretty recently.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. There's one that there's a couple that Lily Gladstone is in. I wish I could remember what that was called. It's not coming to me right off the bat. But again, you're talking like a documentary, and you are making a story about something very, very real, someone who is very real, and then surrounding it with fictional circumstances. And so I remember watching this for the first time because I watched it a couple times just because it's a simple movie to understand. I don't like it. It isn't the easiest one to talk about because it does. I think it does require a little bit more effort on the viewer's part. But first time around, I was watching it and I was like, I can't tell if this is that one of those hybrid films. I was super curious about it. And I was like, well, how much of it actually is documentary? Her name is Cheryl. That is Cheryl Dunye. She wrote and directed it. I was,
Yeah, I think probably a lot of it is autobiographical.
Autobiographic.
Thank you. I was like,
Yes.
that was so wrong every time.
Autobiographical, yes.
Thank you. But like, I think on her part, I think largely it is true. Or like, she is definitely self-inserting here.
Oh yeah, big time.
So, but with fictional relationships. But I think that is pretty dang true. So yeah, I think there's just a lot of things that are true, a lot of things that are fiction, but the fiction might as well be true. So it's like at this point, that's, I don't know, maybe it got me to think of movies or just kind of the whole thing in the grander scope. I love when a movie can kind of take me out and like thank every movie that's came before and thank everyone who's worked on one, and like to think of how many people go into a movie. I love like whenever it just makes me love the whole thing. And and because like a lot of times it just, I just hear how corrupt Hollywood is, or how like just the bad stories that come out of there. But it's always nice to, even in this case, like highlighting a character who I guess it's fiction, but playing, the Mammy type character is probably not what a black woman would want to do in the 1930s. Like that is, it's to be in Hollywood, nice to get, paid to act, but it'd be nice just to be, a normal person.
To tell typical stories. Yeah.
And so I think it was like a nice, even though it was fiction, it did just kind of work in every way. So I don't know. I was duped at the end, but I didn't expect that little twist. I thought it was like, what the card at the end that I expected was like, and Faye Williams passed away on blah blah blah,
right?
And or Richardson, sorry, I don't know where Williams came from, but yeah, I thought it was gonna be or lived her life to do blah blah blah, and then, but no, okay. I was fully in, and yeah, so it was cool. I loved it both ways. Before that even happened, it was already good, and then I'm like, oh shit, you played me, like you done check. I don't know. It felt like a checkmate move. I don't know what. I felt like, I'm like, damn, should I have seen that coming the whole time? But I did not, I guess. So I don't know if the gap that I had in between the morning and end, if I wasn't fully immersed, I don't know. But I think if I just watched all the way through, I think I would have been duped even easier.
Right.
I was so immersed anyway. So yeah, I think, but yeah, it was, I don't know, a movie that I didn't expect to keep evolving in the way it did. So I kind of expected it to be just kind of the independent the whole way out through. But yeah, it was, I don't know, it just kept evolving, which I think was cool.
No, it makes it a really exciting watch. And you brought up a little bit ago the amount of people that go into making a movie, and film budgets and productions never fail to amaze me. Recently there were a couple victories for quote unquote independent cinema and low budget cinema that are really hilarious examples of it, because like it is comparatively low budget to make a movie for less than $1 million now. You know what I'm saying? Like, Obsession cost. Oh, let me make sure that I'm getting this right, and I'm not gonna say something completely wrong. Obsession movie budget. Okay, that's what I thought. So let me give you the and Google AI, not to be trusted, but this does reaffirm what I'd heard elsewhere. AI overview. The 2025 indie horror film Obsession, directed by Curry Barker, was produced on a, quote, micro budget of $750,000.
700 micro. I mean,
micro
minuscule.
Shoestring budgets, man. And this movie, which is as indie as you get, cost $300,000 to make.
Oh my god. Holy crap.
Like, it's what makes, and that is a low budget film, which is crazy. But that goes back to the amount of people that are involved, like paying everybody who worked on the fucking film and paying to send it to festivals and paying to send, oh my God. It's an investment. And that's, again, it's art for art's sake, which is why I love Cheryl's character. You know, you said a little bit ago about how the film and like what she's doing, while it's important, is kind of keeping the relationships at bay and at a distance. The film also makes the argument that it's well worth it. You know, that it is passion. It is a love in and of itself. And therein, it's as valid as any romantic attachment that she could possibly have.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, that kind of the old lady at the end that kind of revealed all of the other relationships that she had, like the fact that she writes everything down, is pissed off, but then has heart problems and is at the hospital, seemingly, you know, like it kind of, I don't want anyone to die, but kind of poetic in a sense that like she gets all of this down and then it gets documented, and then it's in history forever, and it was like kind of the last thing that she needed before she could go on, or like the universe's way of just making sure that this moment is documented in history. And so I thought, I don't know, like that's why I guess, yeah, like looking back is like, yeah, that neighbor that like is, you know, she gives the green beans to, and with, oh my God, with turkey wings in there. I've had like breadcrumb green beans with like bacon bits. I've never had turkey wings and green beans. I need to try that. That did sound delicious. I love how the neighbor was like, yeah, no, okay, fair enough. Like, sure. Yeah. Like, I will take that bag. Actually, now that you ask. But yeah, kind of a sweet kind of moment at the end. And yeah, even though there might have been a death, I don't know if that neighbor did die. I guess she did go to the hospital. She was old. So I just kind of was like, oh, dang, I guess that's sad. Maybe like had like, just was so pissed. Wrote all this, you know, like I can't believe, I don't think she was actually like overall mad. You know, I don't know. I think like, right. Like at the end of all of this stuff, like she gets everything down. Like, yeah,
I don't think that the way, I mean, it's a certain anger, but it's not at Cheryl.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's an anger that exists out of the fact that this is the only way Cheryl would know who this person is. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not because that's all Cheryl knows her for. It's because there's no other way for Cheryl to have known it. And that is what's upsetting. You know, there are no other way she would have known, you know, I don't. Yeah. No other way that she would have been able to convey this information, because there is no other context for her. None of it exists. It's not documented. She is the first, so
it's what pisses her off. But then, like, on the other hand, it's like also Cheryl would have never known, like, at all. Like, it would have even been more unknown, and the history would not be documented in this way. So, like, it is kind of like a, oh man, like I was thinking like the most recent kind of shitter movie that I watched, and like I immediately kind of went to Battleship. You know, it was kind of so, you know. But, like, that movie, that's still incredibly hard, like, to do. Like, the amount of work that has to go into even that movie. And like there's so many like VFX artists, there are so many people like cranking out scenes and and like and putting in real work, and like if it's not
Yeah.
it's not anything monumental, but like it's still like no way. Like that's what humans were doing in 2012, that we made a Battleship movie with fucking I mean that it's crazy that like I don't know that like to go from movie like especially like in the midst of queer like movie month, it's like I'm getting like I just watched Steven Spielberg Disclosure Day in theater too. Like I don't know, I'm getting all these movies that I'm like I'm having a real good time with, or like real love.
Oh yeah.
And then like but then when you get to just sit back and just what like like it was so ridiculous.
Movie.
Yeah, it was so ridiculous, and I'm just like, oh, all right, that might be dope, or like that. Okay,
no,
sure.
It's fun still, man. That's the thing that people get too caught up in with the idea of, I don't know. I have my issues with modern blockbuster filmmaking, but dude, there's some really fun fucking stuff out there. And no, it isn't great, but it doesn't have to be. That's fucking Battleship. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not supposed to be a great movie. I don't think anybody was under the impression as they were making it that was like, this is gonna win some fucking awards, baby. Like no, they were like, this is fun as fuck. I
mean, there was a Skarsgård in there. He did happened to die very, very fast. So obviously the budget, I don't know, maybe wasn't quite there.
Oh, Battleship 2012, if it wasn't the old Skarsgård, it's one of the young Skarsgårds. They weren't quite popping yet.
I guess okay. So even there. But yeah,
Bill
Alexander. It was Alexander Skarsgård. Wow, his IMDb picture, he has no pants on at all.
No.
That's hilarious.
That's the Northman right there, baby.
Wow. Yeah. That's but yeah, so kind of hopping back in between these movies, it's always funny to kind of but step back and even realize, like because I did think of this movie while kind of having this step back and thanking cinema and kind of just being like, this is nice, like movies are so cool and so good. Battleship did cross my mind. I'm like, you know what, and I love Battleship. Like I had to come to terms with being like, you know what, and Battleship was a good time. And so it was like this weird mini moment in this movie that I even came to terms with Battleship. So that's what this
even came to terms with coming to terms with the way things are. No, but there to go to like the other end of the spectrum, where I was watching a movie last night. It was another queer movie, came out in the early 70s, and it is just a extremely erotic, gay movie called Pink Narcissus. Narcissus.
Okay.
It's like a visual psychedelic experiment about this, boy prostitute who is it's like a series of daydreams he's basically having. Wow. And they're all super sexual. It's all super erotic. It is a gorgeous movie. Again, wasn't made for much money. But it wasn't made with the idea in mind, oh, I'm going to make a bunch of fucking money off of this. No, it was a movie that someone really wanted to make and decided, I'm going to go make this fucking thing. Now, I don't know that you can say the same about Battleship. I do think that probably was made with the idea that this is going to put asses in seats. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like, the fact that
the board
movies can coexist being either, cash grabs, or they can be just something that nobody ever has to see. At least I made it. You know what I'm saying? At least I put this to film. And I can walk away from both of them extremely satisfied, different types of satisfied, but extremely satisfied. And this is obviously, The Watermelon Woman is obviously more the latter there. Because again, this movie did cost $300,000 and it made nowhere even near that by a fraction of the amount. Opening weekend would be like 5 people going to see it now.
Oh my God. That is That's so much money. Like, it has to be your life. That's insane.
Yeah, like that is what you want to do with this is what I want to do. This is what I'm doing. And I find that extremely admirable. When you don't have the giant body of, Warner Brothers or Paramount or whoever the fuck behind your movie, and you go, I'm going to make it regardless. Like, that's so deeply admirable. And I think that Cheryl Dunye does some unbelievable work in it.
Yeah, and like even I love like a little transition shot. That doesn't even matter, They're like just up on a rooftop, like or just kind of posing, and then it's from scene to scene. I love just like it feels like there was some camera work experiments, or I don't know. It felt like I was like okay, like that was kind of nice, or like moments where I'm just like yeah, like no, like continue on, I got I guess this is really early on in her career. Is this her actual debut, or is this
Cheryl Dunye actually hasn't done a ton anyway, including this, although she is regarded as a very, very important figure in Black queer cinema regardless. This is, I think, the biggest thing she's ever done insofar as like her name being attached to it and being in it, but she's done a lot of TV work.
Yeah.
I know that for a fact. She directed a couple episodes, or one episode of You, which was a big deal on Netflix. The Umbrella Academy, she had a couple episodes. But yeah, she exists much more behind the camera than she does in front of it. And this wasn't even the first movie she directed. It was the first feature length film she directed, I should say. She directed lots of short films. But yeah, she directed another movie 5 years later called Stranger Inside. Never seen it, but I mean, she directed it, so it's got to be fun. She directed something a few years after that called My Baby's Daddy, which has Anthony Anderson in it, so you know it's good. It's also got Michael Imperioli during his Sopranos run. Let's fucking go. That's awesome. But yeah, so again, as an actor, this is one of those circumstances where a director and a writer had a vision, and I'd be willing to bet had a vision of what the movie was. Movie was basically autobiographical, like you said. Like, she sees herself in this main character. That's why she wrote it. That's why she's directing. That's why she's making the movie. And I'd be willing to bet there came a point where she was just like, oh, nobody's going to be able to perform it better than I can imagine it in my head, so I'm going to bring it to life. Whether that was the intention from the get-go, was just like, this is my movie, I'm going to be in it, or it was a matter of circumstance where it was like, maybe I am the person for it. She doesn't act much, not nearly as much as she directs. So I find that, like, you have such a profound vision for your first feature film that you are going to do it. Like, that is what you are in. I love that.
Yeah, the kind of just sitting down and telling the camera, like this is what I do, and this is what I'm going to continue to do and get better. Like, I was like, it hyped me up at the end, I was kind of like, let's go. Like, I don't even make movies. I want to make a movie now. And then you tell me $300,000. I don't want to make a movie now. It's
yeah.
But I want to, I don't know, no way. Like, I mean, yeah, I get it. Like, if to actually sit in to get all the people, all the equipment, blah blah.
No,
blah.
yeah, there's a lot of actors, like there's a lot of people in it, like, and there's a lot of places, and there's a lot that goes into making a movie, and it was shot on film, and film is really expensive, and like there's a lot of factors that go into the budget of a movie.
Oh man, yeah, but.
And it is possible, to make one for even cheaper, but the requirement there is to have a ton of people who believe in it to the point where they're like, I don't need to be paid for this. You know what I'm saying? And you don't want to do that as a person making a movie anyway. You want to pay people for the fact that they worked on something with you, or for you even.
Damn. It's such a, like, an art form that truly is unlike any, like, I mean, a painting, like, yes, that's still, like, any art form takes skill, and to do it well takes, like, a movie to do well, kind of just anything to do well is insane, but a movie, like, I don't know, no one off the street can ever just do like I feel like eventually if you had just I don't know an oil paint, I guess painting you have to buy paint and paint brushes, but like that seems obtainable for even someone like who has nothing.
Yeah,
to
you
kind of
can
make
be an
their way.
impoverished.
Yeah.
You can be an impoverished painter, and you can be an impoverished filmmaker. But you have to make a display with the limited resources you have that is enough for somebody who has the resources to go. I'm gonna produce something that you want to do. Which again requires access on some level, and I don't want to act like it's impossible, because obviously it's not. There's been several examples of movies that people just continually taking risks on themselves. Like Sam Raimi took out a mortgage on his parents' house to make Evil Dead.
That is so crazy. Oh my god!
That's a massive risk, and believing in it and going, "This is what I'm going to do." Kevin Smith, when he made Clerks, he financed the whole thing with credit cards and then sent it to Cannes. Sent it to Cannes Film Festival, sent it to theaters, and was able to pay the credit cards off. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
baller.
There's a certain degree of risk inherent in choosing that this is what you're going to do. And so a $300,000 budget again is shoestring. But from what I could read and from what I could discern, it was largely crowdfunded. It wasn't like there was a single producer. People bought in and wanted to be a part of it. Which is super cool.
Yeah. And I wonder if to sit down and to start that, that 300,000 isn't okay, I pay this and boom, my movie's, that was an overall.
No,
however
it
long
builds,
the movie was
it builds to
being
that.
paid,
Yeah.
But I wonder how much they, sat down, we're okay, this is how much we're expecting to pay. Or are we just going to do it just to do, we're just doing it no matter what. And then when it's done, it's done. Or if there was okay, we need to kind of rein it in, or I don't know, or this is, I wonder if.
Well, and that's the thing is this probably was reining it in. You know what I'm saying? There's almost certainly elements to this that they would do differently if they had unlimited resources. And the movie would probably be longer if they had unlimited resources. You know what I'm saying? That sudden ending where you're you feel almost like it's an epilogue. It works perfectly for the story, but they're clearly talented enough to have written all of that out and gotten another 30 minutes out of the movie and felt satisfying, that might be a circumstance where it's we can only really afford to make a movie this long. The longer a movie you make, the more you need to film, the more locations you need, the more time you need to pay people who are working on it. And therein, your budget goes up. So it is interesting to think about what it starts as versus what it finishes as. Yeah.
And I always, unless I can say oh, this is what I would have wanted to see, it's if I can't think of any way to change or add to the movie that I wouldn't have done, then I can't truly complain if I don't feel, I guess fully fulfilled. But I think the Diana relationship just kind of ended very abruptly. That was the only thing I was well, come on, tie that bow for me. I was okay, well, this is the one kind of bow that left, or that wasn't fully tied, was kind of their relationship. But I wonder if that's
I had a positive, don't get me wrong, I agree. And again, I think this comes down to resources. I do think that there's a part of it that's if they could have expanded the conclusion of that storyline. But that's why it's sacrificed, is because they don't need to do that. I think that it plays as much more real that their relationship, I used the phrase earlier, fizzled out suddenly, which isn't something that typically happens when you talk about fizzling out. It's over time. It's just kind of it started going away, it just kept going away, and then it was gone. This just went. And it was over, and you could tell it was over. When it happened, I was oh, that's it. I don't know why, I don't know what it was, but it just felt very
first
natural.
Time they argued, I guess, it was
and that happens too. That's the first test, kind of, is to go, okay, well, this is clearly, I don't want to agree with you. I don't want to find the middle ground here, so fuck it. That's that.
Yeah. But and I wonder, like, because the interracial kind of part of the relationship, it's kind of like a last movie, kind of going against the stereotype, having like a
Mm-hmm.
baby at an old age was already bad enough, but then like having a gay daughter or a queer daughter was like, that's unspeakable. Queer is like
Right.
unspeakable. But like here is like, being lesbian, that's full, they're not like, it's actually very welcomed here. There's a family, the
Mm-hmm.
sisters, and everything. But the kind of unspeakable thing, at least still, is like you don't advertise the interracial relationship part. And
Right.
and I wonder, like at least we do at the end. It is like, oh, we learn that that's truly not how to define her. That there was so much more to her life there. And I wonder if it was kind of like the same for Cheryl, like that this. It didn't feel like a bad relationship though, and I don't think that the relationship, the interrelationship that the watermelon one had was bad either. I think it was just that there was so much more else to the story that.
Yeah, well, and it's a lot more loaded, um, especially for a character like Cheryl, who is making a movie about someone who was erased from the annals of history and was,
Mm-hmm.
made as a racist stereotype of a mammy figure, and there you go. Like now you're going to be in this white man's movie to make a white man's
Mm-hmm.
story. Da 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 da. So I think that when it comes to the interracial aspect of the relationship, Cheryl is feeling pressure from Tamara on the
Yeah.
basis of, if you're not going to love us, who's going to love us?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's a little bit of a, if you're going to go date a white woman when you are a black woman. And this is a real take that I've seen from a lot of people online over the last few years, is that like there are black people who won't date white people on
Mm-hmm.
the assessment that just the principle, I
Yeah.
can't do that. Like I need to love my people. And I find, and again, that's a cultural basis thing. Like it's not there are white people who obviously won't date black people, and that's for a completely different fucking reason. It's not because of, oh, I need to love my white people. It's like, no, I just will not love black people. Like there's a difference there. And I think that that's a very important difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's love just, and I don't know if this, at first it was just kind of attraction that they had at the video store, but that's, how any interaction starts. It keeps it going. This it was very natural how they, got their start and everything. It wasn't that it's like, I'm making a stand to go out with a white woman, It's like, that's just the person that came up to the counter. So it's like I'd have to disagree. I can't put myself in that situation. One, I'm not a woman. Two, I'm very, very white. But I think it is, I love has no bounds, I think is at least what my
Mm-hmm.
heart tells me. So I think if whatever happens, whatever stone is laid out in front of you, whatever, that interaction happens to be, I can't control that. But,
No, yeah. And I do think that there's a point that Cheryl Dunier's story makes, which is that when the stone presents itself, you should follow it. Like she I
Yeah.
think there's a point in the movie when she says she never saw herself being with someone like Diana, but here we are and it's going well and da 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 da, and it fizzles out and that's that, but at least she walked down the path for a little bit. I don't think she regrets it. I don't think that's the point of the movie,
Yeah. No. Yeah. No. I don't think so. And I think it served the kind of wedge that was between kind of everyone that it was forming a little bit. Like
Mhm.
Tamara definitely kind of like at the end, that phone call of where Cheryl's like, I finally, I talked to the lover, I finally did it. But like Tamara's like, come on, you didn't hear me though, like listen to what I'm
Right.
saying, and so I think it, like, obviously this project is her life, and maybe that's a little meta. I don't know if like this movie itself got in the way of her friendships. If like she truly had to put everything in it, that it did kind of toil some real friendships. I don't know, but that is kind of interesting to throw in here. But because there really isn't a bow tied there either. It is kind of left up.
No, this is just like the end of the movie is the documentary, because that's what she was doing. She was making this.
Yeah.
And that, again, I do agree there is a certain meta element to that here, where you go, oh, there's not really an ending. No, it's the fact that she made the movie at all. Like, that's the point, is that I got to make this. And I think that's a really, really I think that's really, really cool, and like the most important part of the movie is the quote at the end. Yeah. It's like, you've watched this. I made this. This is why I made this, and I think that is super cool, and I know I kind of poked fun at her earlier where I said she's quoting herself on this one. That's really important that she's quoting herself. Yeah. She's going, I made this movie. This is why I made this movie. And you just watched the whole movie. You were here. You saw it. You now have a piece of our history without the story of the watermelon woman existing. It's history that Cheryl Dunye got to make it. You know what I'm saying? Like that. She made history by telling a story about Black history. And I think that is super fascinating.
Mm-hmm. And I think like, we were talking like that it's so very realistic that it might as well have happened. And that like any movie, is a story just to be written. But like there are certain things that like you can't actually be like, okay, well that's obviously the real world. Or like this is just so actually the real world that like it's a different vein of kind of storytelling, I think. And so like this I don't think you can really, I don't know, I'm trying to pull like an example of trying to take something so seriously, but it's so like outward, like you just know immediately that there's no way it could have taken place in the real world. But yeah, like this...
it happens a lot in just drama in general. Now, like a movie that I went to that could obviously story-wise have taken place in the real world, but the circumstances are so perfect and everything happens so specifically that obviously this is a movie. And that's Past Lives. That's a story that could be real. You know what I'm saying? Like there's nothing that's literally making it a fantasy, but that's a movie. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like that is a fictional movie. I can tell, there may be some underlying themes, and there may be some underlying motivations behind the story that are inspired by a plethora of things. But you go, how do I make this into a movie? And that's how you make it into a movie. This could just be its own, everything in this movie could have been documentary. And I find that so interesting.
Mm-hmm. It's like life is just kind of a movie in itself. Like I like to think that, whenever I kick the bucket, I just get to roll back. I don't know if I truly want to. I think I want to, the first, maybe 20 years are interesting, but I think, post COVID, I'd be really glad to just watch that back, sit back, just be like, let's just see, let's just reminisce and, watch it like a movie, that sounds so nice. And I always, kind of think like, if I am in that position, you kind of want to make life as much of a movie as possible, do things that are movie-like. But then is that too much like main character syndrome? Are you is that too much effort? Is that too against the natural? I don't know. But yeah, at the same time,
I think there's some legitimacy in the idea that you have to treat yourself that way sometimes. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Not all the time, it's then you become a narcissist and you start going, like it's about me. But I do think it's really important that at times you decide you're going to look at your life that way and try to make the most of it. It's not strictly like, this is going to be about me, but like, living the most that you can. Like when I was in, whenever you travel, that happens a lot. You make everything a movie, like everything's, at least it does to me. Like I'm here. This whole part of my life is a montage, essentially. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
this is true. Yeah. And you think back on those moments and that's exactly what it is. I don't know. It's
you almost see it as you thought in the moment you would see it later. You know what I'm saying? Like you almost don't really remember exactly what was. You remember how you thought to yourself, I'm going to remember it like this, as you were doing it.
Wow. Yeah. But, no, this, I don't know. I'm not even thinking of like what I do. What would I do right now to make my life more like a movie? I don't know.
I think movies can't be all rise, man. No, they do have to have character beats. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? They do have to have their moments. And that's why life is like a movie. It's just really fucking long, dog. It's like a franchise that takes way too long to end. No,
and the budget way over $300,000. That's way for sure.
Over $300,000.
Damn, to raise a kid, that's already like what, 750? It's like $1 million probably now with inflation to raise a kid, and then everything, all the food I've ate. God dang, okay. It is one long
all the stuff.
Yeah, I mean, so much stuff. Imagine all the food and all the stuff of your life in one room. All of it, just I really
love the too much stuff theory. It's the too much stuff conspiracy. The too much stuff conspiracy is so funny to me.
Wow.
Because obviously, I know consciously that obviously there's not too much stuff, but I watched a video of a guy going, "There's so much fucking stuff. Where are they making all of the stuff?" What? And where does it go when we're done using it? And see that I completely get that impulse, but then my answer is that the world's just a lot fucking bigger than you think it is. Like it's fucking massive how big the shit we've got going on is.
I don't know if it was in the similar vein, but I feel like I heard a theory that was there's not enough cows to literally produce as much meat as humans are eating every year. And I don't know. I'm up in the air on that. I haven't fact checked that.
Yeah,
but like
I don't want to dive into that too hard.
No, that's actually just too crazy. There's no way. Because like it honestly felt so real that like, wait a minute, what the hell? I'm like, wait, like if that's actually true, then what have I been eating? So yeah, that's I don't know. I'll leave that one up in the air. I guess for now, for a little bit. No need to confirm. But yeah, random. How do we get here?
No, for sure. The Watermelon Woman is a really, really. I really appreciated the experience. I do think, in the context of the month we've had so far, it probably is my least favorite. But not in a way it's like I disliked it. Not by a long shot. I really, really enjoyed it. But again, that formatting and that type of story, while I admire it and I think it's really, really impressive to pull off this well, I do think it leaves a distance between me and the subject. Like, and that's a personal taste thing. Like, some people can watch the shit out of documentaries and love them. I have a really tough time with it. I don't know why. I can watch a good documentary, but rarely is it going to affect me like it's real, which is fascinating. Because it literally is real. Greatest documentary of all time is Paris is Burning, by the way. Applicable during Pride Month. You should watch Paris is Burning. That one fucked me up beyond belief, and is beautiful in the extreme, and showed me what a documentary could be. So, but yeah, so like the kind of hybrid film, while cool to pull off, I find it leaving me want for more typically when I watch it. Just falls below, but I'm a cheerleader and saving face for me for that reason.
Yeah, I would have to agree. A good, like very, every type of movie. Yeah, I still don't know what to expect next week. How that one, but I can kind of gather a vibe. Good. I think.
So fun.
I think the very different types or the variety of movies. Like I remember saying But I'm a Cheerleader, being like, these movies are good, but it takes a little more to get me to be a movie. And then Saving Face got me to kind of realize like, well, I enjoy, it's a different type of enjoyment. That's not really a fair statement to make. And then like even this makes it, I think, even clearer that it's like, yeah, I enjoyed this movie.
There's no one way to enjoy a movie, Yeah, there's so many different neurons firing across all three of the movies we've covered so far, and I think that's awesome. So, so in a moment, we'll go ahead and rate this movie on a scale of 1 to 10. But first, I'm going to do some plugs because next week, Geek With Me will be back with House of the Dragon Season 3's premiere. Speaking of Pride Month, all hail Queen Rhaenyra Targaryen, baby. We are all in on the Queen's side, the real Queen, the true Queen's side, with Rhaenyra over there. At least I am. So House of the Dragon Season 3 will be covering that week by week, episode by episode. And we should have had an episode on Geek With Me within, probably today, maybe yesterday, on Disclosure Day, and kind of looking forward to House of the Dragon Season 3. So, got that over there on Geek With Me. Let's see. I think that's all we have going on, aside from the fact that we'll be back next week here on The Sentimentalists with Tu Wong Fu. Thanks for everything, Julie Newmar. I cannot wait. I love that movie so dearly, and I am excited to show Joe it. But, let's go ahead and rate The Watermelon Woman on a scale of 1 to 10. How you feeling?
Yes. Well, I guess The Watermelon Woman, I did give an 8 at first, but then retroactively 8.5. We have an 8.5 there together and a 9 together for Saving Face. I think I'm well above the 7. I think 7 of Flora being good or great. I very much enjoyed this. It got me to expand beyond the movie. Love when that happened. Good feeling. Got goosebumps. Made me feel warm. Made me feel good. And also sad at the same time. It's like a sad history to reflect on, but in a warm light, so it always feels nice that way. I think I'm chilling at like a 7.5, maybe middle of the road there.
Yeah, I like that. I think I'm going to elevate it just a little bit more. I'm going to go 7.75. I don't know. It's just where my gut took me.
There we go.
Great time. Really solid. Yeah.
What does that mean? 76.3. Is that anything?
76.3.
God damn it. 6.7. It was, and the address that she went to of the old lady at the very end was literally, there was 69 and 67. So the two funny numbers, right? Somehow they knew from all the way back then, 6.7 would be another funny number. I hope it dies. Actually, I need 6.7 to die. We need to make 69 the funny number.
Surrender to its flow, man.
No, never.
Surrender.
I will be counter 6.7 till the day I die.
6.7.
But at least this is 7.6. So yeah,
76, baby. No, I love that. I love that. 76.3 on the old Sentimental-o-meter. It's a good spot for it to be sitting. Very, very high score, very positive score. And I love that. So with that, I think we can conclude this episode of The Sentimentalists. We will be back next week with Tu Wong Fu. Thanks for everything, Julie Newmar. And that will be our last Pride Month episode. Very exciting. And then we got what's in store for July. Next week, you gotta come back so you can hear what we got. Because July is a fun month. I'll give you the concept. Because it doesn't give you the movies yet. We agreed on the 50 years later concept, right? A movie from 76, a movie from 86, a movie from 96, a movie from 06, and a movie from 2016. So kind of celebrating every decade over the course of the last 50 years since 1976. So I'm very excited for that. Like I said, movie from every one of those years, so you can do all the speculating you want, maybe get your heart set on something, and then we can break it whenever we tell you what we're actually going to do. Or maybe you'll be right, and look at that. That'll be a nice high that you'll be chasing for the rest of your life. But
that's what you've been waiting for.
You've just been waiting for that hit, that one good hit of guessing something correct. But yeah, with that, I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here, homie.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, fuck ice.